yourself. Very weird.
T3 Media.
Through the media.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Talking Through the Media, your home for entertainment news and reviews by fans for fans. Remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and send us those questions, those comments. Just drop them in the box below because we want to hear them. I'm Amy Newman, and joining me today is the charming Mr. Chris Fagan.
Oh, see, I thought this was going to be the day that you were going to actually not think of something on the spot.
I'm just going to start. It's Chris. He's fine. She got
a thesaurus in there, you know. That's just making me look bad. Hey guys, thanks for joining us here at episode 149. It's awesome, man. It's we're gonna do our usual routine here. We're gonna talk about entertainment news. We're gonna talk about what's going on, why is that trending, stuff like that, and just talk about the things that you like to hear. And if you want to hear this later on podcast form. You can do that on iTunes and on SoundCloud. And I just totally botched that whole thing. I'm throwing myself off. If you also want to contribute to us on We Got Your Mail, you can also send your questions, comments, and concerns. Put it in the box below at T3 Medias, or you can comment a video right here on the channel. So without further ado, we're going to rush right into this because we got a lot of stuff to talk about. But, you know what? Before we get started, Amy, let me ask you. You said there was something real quick that came into the news before we get started today. Something about a favorite director of yours, right?
Oh yes, it's I want to call it Baywatch because my Bay. I thought that was funny, Chris. And
yeah, I thought it was funny too.
Okay. Yeah, we got some new and exciting news from my personal one hall pass that I'm allowed. Mr. Taika Waititi is, I believe it's HBO, going to be with HBO doing a comedy based around the true story, sort of like a socialite who dropped it all and became a pirate. It sounds very funny. I'm very excited. He is just very talented and just one of those people who has been absolutely blowing it up lately. And I am always really excited to see him getting work and getting projects that just seem right up his alley and super exciting. So I will continue to keep you posted on any new Bay news.
Cool. See, there you go. See, all I needed to hear was pirates and Taika Waititi, and I was like, oh yeah, because if it's anything like what he did with the vampires, I'm like, this is gonna be funny as hell. But it's not like related to like Pirates of the Caribbean, right? It's just pirates.
I think it's based on an actual person, obviously going to be very loosely based, but yeah. I mean, the man has done more for making, not more, but since Mel Brooks, no one has done so much to make Hitler funny. So I trust him, you know.
That's true. I think that it says something. It was going to debut on HBO Max. This is an HBO Max exclusive, right?
That I'm not sure.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's what it said. But before we officially get started with the next with spotlighting and why is that trending, remember, guys. Something changed. I did something different for if you want to contribute to the show. I used to say just email us, mail@t3medias.com. You can still do that, but there is also a contacts page. If you go to www.t3medias.com/contact, there is a form now that you can fill out, and you can send your comments or any suggestions for trending topics that are out there that we might have missed and that you think we might want to talk about in the week. The reason why I'm emphasizing this is because once we start streaming live and live streaming and whatnot, there's probably going to be some things that are happening on a day-to-day basis that, we might overlook. So just keep that in mind, guys. I mean, if you don't feel like cracking open an email, just go to the website, type it in, no biggie,
I feel like email might go the way of the phone call soon. Like, how when someone calls you and it's like, what could it possibly be? Like, I feel like emails are becoming more and more like, don't email me to say hi. Like, email me because, like, someone's dead
or something. Right. It's funny how phone calls came in, texting came in after that. Then texting was like, it was just too much of a hassle that I remember for a while. And then
you had to press each button
because
so many
times. They had those button things, and then texting now is like the only thing. Like, it better be an emergency if you're calling me. You like, really? That's all you wanted to say? text that crap. Like, that's how I am now, especially with my clients. Don't even get me started. If you're looking for a house, don't call me. Text me, and I might
call me all the time. I'm not trying to put you on blast here, but you call me all the time, and sometimes I like.
That is not true.
Like,
I butt dial all the time.
I like call back. I'm like, Chris, what's going on? And you're like, I literally can't remember.
Because it was an emergency then, and then I solved it after that. I mean, that's it. You're the example of the text that shit person. So, but most, like 50% of the time, it's a butt dial. I swear. Mm-hmm. I'm lying. All right, I'm ready. And with that out of the way, let's go into why is that trending. So, let's see. What is the first topic of the day?
First off, we got a spotlight on the Creative Arts Emmys, which is normally an in-person event at the Microsoft Theater over 2 nights, held the weekend before the primetime Emmy telecast. Instead, that is taking place September 14th and September 17th, and then again on September 19th, and that's all hosted by Nicole Byer. Among the big winners would have been last night, when we were two nights ago. Mm-hmm. Time's not real. The big winners included Queer Eye, as well as HBO's The Apollo, which was named Outstanding Documentary or Nonfiction Special. CNN's Apollo 11 won 3 awards, while VH1's RuPaul's Drag Race won casting for a reality program for the first time.
So you were geeking out about this one. This was like, did you watch it? Are you currently watching them?
No, I always think it's kind of lame how it's like we have these, it's like we're going to bother to have a show honoring the people who make the art we like. And then, there's always the like real quick, like as they're coming back from commercials, like the Oscars do it, the Emmys do it, where it's like, oh, by the way, these shows also won. And here's a very, very quick clip. And then it's like, oh man,
like you want to, so these are the awards of those awards that get like overlooked. Those are the ones. Those are your jam, right? Those are the ones you wanted to see.
I mean, I like, I just think they're all important.
Okay.
I'm not saying I like live for the Creative Arts Emmys, but it's just like that's great. And again, a lot of times I think those award shows do help bring attention to like, hey, these people make the stuff you like happen just as much as the star of your favorite TV show does.
Right. They put in
you think like, and honestly something like, oh, casting on a reality TV, like someone finds like the Drag Race stars who have put drag on the mainstream map and are beloved, and like I don't even regularly watch the show, and I if I hear them mentioned, I'm like, oh, I know who that is, she's great. And giving some credit to like someone picks those people. Someone, it's always the like sound awards and stuff where you're like, the editing awards where you're like, I didn't think about that. But it takes a lot of talent and a lot of people beyond the people you think of to make good entertainment.
Yeah, to put this stuff together. So yeah, it's good that people that we take for granted that we don't think of, who's really the glue that puts all this stuff together, that we're gushing over all the time, but they usually 9 times out of 10, they're just getting that credit mention, and we're probably overlooking that too. So it's nice, like you said, that they get a day, they get their own, they get an award. So you said this is usually what happens every year, right before the I guess the main show, I guess the big Emmys.
Right. I believe they normally hold like the Creative Arts Emmys. Again, for most award shows, I think there's like the more technical awards, sort of the less publicized awards are held on a separate night. Mm-hmm. I know like for the Oscars, they always show the like, here's like the other party we had with all the people who did like all the tech stuff and all the, so I believe it's normally like one night for those, one night for the Emmys, and there's also the daytime Emmys.
Yeah, I know about the daytime Emmys.
I don't know when those are happening.
I don't. I've never watched.
In the daytime, I guess it's weird if they hold those at night.
It would be weird if a daytime Emmy is aired at like midnight or something like that. They're probably so drunk. I heard that the Emmys is where people really get lit. Like that's the party.
I think it's that and the Golden Globes.
And the Golden Globes, yeah.
The Golden Globes, everyone turns up, is what I've heard.
It's like, what? Like, I mean, that's how
I've decided. I'm like, they're like, do you want an Oscar? I'm like, I want a Golden Globe.
I want to go to Globe because I heard what Meryl Streep does every year. It is crazy.
I got to see it.
I got to see
just those ping pong balls, man. It's crazy.
No, let's not spread that rumor. Guys, let us know if you let us know what kind of award shows that you might be watching that you don't think gets enough love and attention out there. Like I said, I've never even heard of these whatnot. I barely heard of the daytime Emmys. I think I've heard that Wayne Brady won a daytime Emmy before. I mean, so
that's good.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, let us know what you guys think. Put it in the box below, and we'll talk about it, baby, on We Got Your Mail. So let's talk about the next topic of the day. What's up?
All right. From BuzzFeed, Chris Evans had the best response after he accidentally posted a very not safe for work picture on his Instagram story. So as you may have heard, Chris Evans lit up the internet over the weekend when he accidentally posted a picture to his Instagram story that probably was not meant to go that public. Well, we all, of course, wanted to hear from Captain America himself, and late Monday, he tweeted out the perfect response. Now that I have your attention, vote November 3rd.
Yeah, that's why I made sure to put on the lower third, like Chris Evans tells people to go to the polls. It's comedy. I was gonna put poll, but then I would think, I was trying not to be
They'll
too
get
crude.
it. Yeah. Our viewers are pretty smart.
I'm pretty sure you guys get that.
And we're talking about it.
I mean,
pointed out the joke now, so I think they're good.
It happened, and we're talking about it, so it must be news. But I was like, do I want to look this up? Nah, I'm not gonna look this up.
I didn't, because to me, and it's true. It's just, it is one of those double standards where it's like, if. And granted, I think it's a little different than stuff like the fappening or whatever, because at least no one hacked his stuff. But it's like, he didn't mean for that to be out there. Right. Like, if I ever slipped up and something like that happened, we've all opened our phone and gone, oh God, I hope they didn't look at my camera roll before I found the picture I was looking for.
There was a text that was a text that I was trying to send to you that I almost sent to one of my real estate clients, and it was like a long one, like a real long one. It was like a copy and paste kind of a thing, and I didn't realize I was in. And I thought I hit the send button, and then I realized I didn't, and then I looked at the name, and it was so. These things happen, man. But YouTube.
But at the end of the day, it's like, if you didn't happen to just catch it on his Instagram story, which I did not, it was like, I'm not going to invade the man's privacy more than it's already been invaded.
You didn't.
But there was a curiosity, but I was like, no, I will feel bad about that. He did not want that photo to be out there.
What did he call it? America's ass. He didn't want to check on the movie.
Wanted and knew I should. They were two different things, and I wanted Captain America to be proud of me, so I didn't.
I mean, I thought it was.
I think that was a very just funny, classy, just kind of the perfect way to handle it. Of this doesn't have to be the notes app, 3 paragraphs. It's like, all right, guys, there's bigger stuff going on in the world. It happened. You saw it. It's my body. It's not a big deal.
I think
go vote. Go actually, take
go
that
vote.
energy.
Now that I got your attention thing, go vote. It's funny because he was probably mortified because he's usually quick-witted, but it took him a couple days to probably collect himself. All right, I know how to respond to this now. He was probably traumatized, no, I can't believe this. Yeah. But it's fine. Nobody's. I'm sure you just caused a lot of arguments in a lot of relationships. I'm sure a lot of guys were like, "You looking at that picture again?" I'm but it happened. The best meme I think that I saw was I don't know if you saw Did you see the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies? Or was it the second one where? It was where he was at school and it kept showing a video of Captain America doing those public service announcements. He brought the chair. And I saw a meme of that. You got your photos out, your naked photos out on the internet. So you screwed up. Like Captain America chastising Chris Evans. That would have been hilarious if that would have circulated more. But like I said, this story came and it went. It rose and it fell, so to speak. I mean,
it's a ding dong. Half of us got one.
Yeah, half 49%.
And honestly,
it used to be 50%. Now 49% of the population have one. Now Okay, women are the majority.
It
Women
just got a little rare. Now I do want to see it. Now that I know it's rare.
But besides that, guys, let us know what you think about Chris Evans' big story or small story. I don't know. We haven't seen it. And let
like, can someone just describe it? Is that ethically okay? Like, give me a like
if you shine a light behind it, and I just see the silhouette. If that's is that the same thing?
Puppet, do like a hand puppet to give me just the approximate, like, what are we?
Oh my. Okay. Oh wow! There's so many gestures there, so many things. Okay, all right. Now,
I am like determined to
get people to comment on it. Oh, it was great. Well, guys, I mean, if you guys have seen it, let us know what you guys thought about it. Maybe we'll talk about it on We Got Your Mail. All right, let's save me from this one. Let's go to the next one. What's the next topic of the day?
Oh boy, the most 2020 story I could possibly summon up. From the Daily Beast, Carole Baskin's Disastrous Dancing with the Stars debut marked a new low for the show. Baskin's Paso Doble danced, of course, to Survivor's Eye of the Tiger, earned the lowest score of the night. Of course, as we've discussed on this show, Baskins has dealt with jokes theorizing that she murdered her husband and fed him to tigers, which then became a popular meme and a TikTok dance. But then, when things couldn't get any wilder, the family of that husband purchased ad time in Florida markets and aired a commercial during the telecast on Monday, asking for information on his disappearance, should this all not already be grotesque and twisted and just 2020 enough.
I think the funniest thing about this story to me is the fact that I remember seeing a couple of days ago or before she got out there that if Carole Baskins doesn't dance to Eye of the Tiger, it's going to be a waste of a show. And she did it. She danced to that song and still got the lowest, like one of the lowest scores, I guess you can get.
They take their dancing seriously on that show. That is one thing.
Did you see it? Did you see a clip of it?
I didn't watch that one, but I've watched Dancing with the Stars, and like they are legitimately like from a ballroom perspective, here's what you did or did not do correctly.
Right.
Like it is a ballroom dance show at the end of the. I mean, it's also like a huge spectacle, and apparently, like yeah, this all does feel a little trashy and weird. Also, side note, why are we doing Dancing with the Stars? There's a pandemic, y'all. Like this does not feel like.
Did they quarantine before? Did they wear masks? I mean, what the hell?
Maybe. I mean, I have to assume some kind of precautions were in place, but it's just hard.
There is that
like, left the house in 6 months, but it's hard not to feel a little like some people can't go to their like parents' funerals this year, but like cool, I guess that this show needs to happen.
People are going to.
And I say that as someone who desperately wants the entertainment industry up and running. But.
I guess so. I mean, people are going to super spreader events and whatnot, following some guy around. So I mean, it's just. It happens.
2020. Mistake class.
I mean,
the ad is first of all, she should have doubled down and danced the TikTok like Carole Baskin.
Now speaking of that, if I remember correctly, I can't remember if it was in the article or not. Am I remembering this correctly? Did the commercial from her ex-husband's family introduce her as, or did Dancing with the Stars introduce her as that bitch Carole Baskins?
It must have been Dancing with the Stars because the ad was pretty professional. Like it actually was pretty somber and like it was all the daughters being like, I'm the daughter of
God, like so they went like,
and then it was like if you have any information on his disappearance or Carole Baskin's involvement. Call this number. There's $100,000 reward for information.
So that phone is literally like going off the hook right now with just people just calling just to call.
Just dropping memes left and right. Yeah. Like, which like I do feel bad for that family. Like, again, we've discussed on the show. I don't think Carole Baskins killed him, but that is still like the family does seem to think so, and like that's an awful situation to be in. To feel like this person who may have had a hand in a family member's death is like. I mean, it's like how, like, you know, like the O.J. Simpson stuff, like.
Who isn't shy on commenting on other people's attempted or accusations of murder drama? Like, he tweets about Carole Baskins and other people's and stuff. Like, oh, I'll tell you right now. Oh yeah, they're probably guilty. Like, I'm an expert. Like, that dude is just trolling the world. Like... He's just trolling us. He's just trolling the world. His book. You know what? I'm about to go on a whole OJ rant. Never mind, guys. Let us know what you guys thought. Did you see this thing, or because people are like really got offended that Dancing with the Stars really lowered themselves even further, I guess, than I guess some people believe it was ever possible by allowing her on the show. And a lot of people are pretty upset about it. But let us know if you saw it. Let us know what you guys thought about the performance. Do you think did she make it? Did she get kicked off, or did she survive? That I don't even know. But that's my question. Let us know what you guys think, or if you have any information on that commercial. I guess let us know on the comments below. Put it in the box below, and we'll talk about it on We Got Your Mail. So, Amy, what is next?
All right. Up next, Jason Momoa has spoken out about his experience on the Justice League set, saying he, Ray Fisher, and other cast members were treated in a, let's say, bad way by Warner Brothers. On September 8th, the Aquaman star first showed support for Fisher and his allegations of abusive and unprofessional behavior from director Joss Whedon and producers Jeff Johns and John Berg while filming Justice League. Momoa was the first Justice League star to show solidarity with Fisher, posting to his Instagram story with the hashtag #IStandWithRayFisher.
Well, everybody was wondering why nobody from the cast was backing him up or saying a thing. Mm-hmm. I think it's pretty interesting that the only other, I guess, ethnic or minority cast member, Jason Momoa, is that. There you go. It doesn't get any bigger than that. And then on top of that, what are they going to do? Warner Brothers, what are they going to do about it? I mean, his movie just grossed $1 billion. If there's any major support that's just now swung Ray Fisher's way, that's it. Because they could probably throw Ray Fisher under the bus and be like, he's lying, we don't believe him, and just throw his movie away. But they can't do anything about Jason Momoa. I
believe Ray Fisher has said as well that there have been comments by the producers essentially threatening his career for speaking out. So,
yeah. Well, because they're accusing him of lying or mm-hmm. just, I guess, blowing it out of proportion for making a mountain out of a molehill. Like we all only like if I remember correctly, Warner Brothers' comment was. He had Ray Fisher had show notes and things that he wanted us to do with his character. We disagreed. We told him no, and we just pretty much told him no. Do the work. Just do the job that the director is telling you to do, and he didn't like that. And that's their accusation that this is all about Ray Fisher wanting more screen time and more this and more that, and they just didn't agree and said they told him no.
That's just insane to me because as an actor, I could not imagine getting an opportunity like that. And honestly, even if it was a legitimately abusive situation, like the bravery to stand up and say this is unacceptable, mm-hmm. You are going up against Warner Brothers. You are going up against this giant corporate. You're going up against Joss Whedon, who's, quite frankly, a more recognizable name than you. And like, it shouldn't be that way, but you're risking being labeled like a difficult actor. And I'm not saying that's acceptable, that's what that means. I'm just saying I don't think any actor would do that to their career if it wasn't necessary in their eyes. I don't think anyone would go, I'm really going to risk all of this. I'm going to risk my piece of this pie because I didn't like that they gave me notes. I didn't like that they didn't take my notes. Right. That's just insane to me.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, none of us were there. We don't know exactly what went on between him and Joss Whedon. I hope, that it wasn't like that. Like I said, it was weird that no one else was confirming this experience. But at the same time, maybe this wasn't, would Joss Whedon dare do that to Ben Affleck? Would Joss Whedon dare do this to Gal Gadot? You never know. The only thing that gives a lot of credibility to his story is the fact that out of all the other cast members, he's the one just coming off of like Broadway and whatnot. He's the less recognizable name. versus all the other guys. So maybe all the other guys had more ability to push back. I mean, I heard that Warner Brothers was bending over backwards to make the person who was cast as the Flash. Oh my God, there's another situation where I can't remember her name off the top of my head. The person cast as Flash, he was the Flash was being pushed and delayed repeatedly, and at one point they even gave the actor the ability to write a script and things like that, like bending over backwards for this actor. So it's like, and you weren't hearing things like that from other cast members, well, except Ben Affleck, but he does write scripts and he does direct, so that would have made sense from Ben Affleck. But Ray Fisher out of the whole cast was just not that known for these things, and I just feel like if it's true, then yeah, he I guess would be like a bully, how a bully can tell who they could get away with and who they can tease and whatnot. I would assume, I guess they thought that he was the one to do it. A lot of people also believe that maybe he was just doing it because, like I said, he feels like his movie isn't going to get made anymore. His character wasn't being utilized as everybody else's was, and maybe he was taking the opportunity, like what happened on the Glee situation, where now that Black Lives Matter is more popular now, maybe that's probably the position Warner Brothers is taking. Like he's just using current events to his advantage or something like that. But either way it goes, whether that's true or not, with Jason Momoa now backing him up,
him sticking his neck on the line really does that.
But not really to me. I mean, what is Warner Brothers going to do to Jason Momoa? They could stop working with him, but
sure.
But Aquaman 2,
No, I think even just but backing someone up, if you, no matter how like secure you are in your position, you wouldn't put your name on the line of, I saw this happen as well, I stand by them, if you didn't see it happen, if you knew they were just trying to pull a stunt.
Yeah,
I don't know. I could be completely, no one's in this room. No one knows exactly what happened except the people who were there. But to me, the fact that someone else is standing up and going, yeah, I stand with him, this all checks out to me.
Yeah. I think that's good, but the only reason why I still have some reservations is the fact that it took so long. I mean, Ray Fisher was out there by himself for a long time, and now Jason Momoa is doing it. So that, I feel like maybe there's a reason behind it or not, but I feel like Jason Momoa is.
I feel like that's sort of the double-edged sword of like, is it that all of a sudden we have more people speaking up about how they've been mistreated on set, and it gave him, it empowered him and made him feel comfortable to say that because he felt like it might actually be heard and be part of a conversation that's happening? Or is he riding that movement? You could argue both sides of that. I know what I would personally believe and stand by, but I can see both sides of that argument.
Now, and if I remember correctly, I think Jason Momoa's statement wasn't like confirmation that it was happening. It was more just support for Ray Fisher. Like, if this is happening, this is effed up, and this is a bad situation or whatever. So it's if I remember correctly, maybe I didn't see all of his statement, but from what I saw, I thought it seemed like he was just really showing love and support to Ray Fisher, not necessarily confirming, they treated me like that too, or something like that. Because I don't remember seeing that. If I'm wrong, I guess let me know. But yeah, guys, what do you guys thought about? I didn't talk about this when it first was popping off because I didn't know what to think about it. Like I said, it was kind of odd to me in the beginning how he was the only one who seemed to have had this experience. But then at the same time, I'm thinking, well, you got Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot, and Jason Momoa, and the only other person that's like that hasn't really been on that many movies before and just coming out of Broadway and whatnot is Ray Fisher. So I guess maybe it does make sense. So if it makes sense to you guys, let us know what you think. Put it in the box below, and maybe we'll talk about it on an upcoming We Got Your Mail. And last but not least, we have not 4 but 5 topics to talk about. So let's get into the last one of the day.
Perhaps one of the most talked about and maybe sort of influential stories, I think, in the entertainment sphere this week We're placing a spotlight on the Academy because on September 8th, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences announced new representation and inclusion standards for Oscars eligibility in the Best Picture category as part of its Academy Aperture 2025 initiative. The standards are designed to encourage equitable representation on and off screen in order to better reflect the diversity of the movie-going audience. So again, to be clear, these are standards that movies must hit to be nominated for Best Picture. And I believe it's 2 of the 4 groups.
Right.
Is the overall. So it gets a little complicated. We have standard A, it's, I believe, A, B, C, and D, and you have to hit 2 of the 4 categories.
Right.
So category A is, or standard A, is on-screen representation, themes, and narrative. So to achieve standard A, the film must meet one of the following criteria. This is like, how wide can we make this? So, of these, we have our 3 ways they can make category A. They only have to meet 1. So, A1 is lead or significant supporting actors, meaning at least one of the lead actors or significant supporting actors is from an underrepresented racial or ethnic group, including Asian, Hispanic or Latinx, Black, African American, Indigenous, Native American, Alaskan Native, Middle Eastern, North African, Native Hawaiian, or Pacific Islander, or another underrepresented race or ethnicity. That's A1. One of your main actors from an underrepresented racial group. Your second point, your general ensemble cast. So at least 30% of actors in secondary and more minor roles are from at least 2 of the following underrepresented groups. So at least 30% are women of a racial or ethnic minority group from the LGBTQ plus community, or people with cognitive or physical disabilities, or who are deaf or hard of hearing. A3, the main storyline or subject matter. So the main storyline, theme, or narrative of the film is centered on an underrepresented group. That would be women, racial or ethnic group, LGBTQ+, or people with cognitive or physical disabilities, or who are deaf or hard of hearing. So one of those 3 to hit that main point. They really made this difficult.
Yeah, they have. Now,
they made it very easy, but very complicated.
I mean, yeah, like I was saying, you would have to. Let me go back. You would have to go out of your way to not be able to qualify in this. 'Cause like I said, if your main cast is all white and there's not a minority in there at all, no Asian, Hispanic at all, and whatnot, you don't qualify for A1. So let's move on to A2. At least 30% of all the actors in the secondary, let's say your main characters are all white, but okay, what about your co-stars, your secondary characters? I
don't know. I will say I can think of plenty of like period piece films that are primarily about able-bodied straight white men. Like I will say, in a lot of ways, I think this category might be one of the least hit.
You mean A1?
I mean A in general, because I do think they're like representation. Well, no, but that's not true, because representation behind the camera is just as bad.
Right.
But I do feel like it's a very broad way to just be like, maybe don't make a movie about all straight white able-bodied dudes, but
well, not necessarily.
Movies are about straight white able-bodied dudes. Like,
from what I understand, not necessarily what the movie is about, but just the actor themselves. Like if they have to be a member of one of these groups. I mean, like, the movie could be about a straight white male, but if the actor himself is gay, then I think that's a check. From what I understand, and like standards, and then moving on to like standards B, which and I won't go through the whole thing because it kind of repeats a lot of the points, but at least 2 of the following. I'm sorry, B1, creative leaderships and department heads. At least 2 of the following. Leadership
and project team is sort of your main group, and they have to meet one of those criteria.
Right. See, casting directors, cinematographer, composers, costume designers, directors, editors, hairstylists, makeup artists, producers, production designers, set decorators, sound VFX supervisors or writer are from the following underrepresented groups, like women, racial or ethnic, LGBTQ, people with cognitive or physical disabilities, or who are deaf or hard of hearing. So it says here, at least one of those positions must belong to the following underrepresented racial group. One of those positions. So, in Hollywood, from what I understand, I'm like, maybe like I said, maybe the producer is straight, but maybe the sound person isn't, or maybe
no. Again, it's complicated because I feel like they actually tried to make it as broad as possible. Right. Like at the end of the day, it's like, oh, really? It's like, okay, to have someone in some facet of your behind the scenes, right. Just again, not being essentially
it would be tough. I mean, even if I was to go to like stereotypes, like hairstylists or makeup artists, I mean, 9 times out of 10, it's probably going to be a woman or somebody in the LGBTQ community. So that's just, if I was just to play up on stereotypes, that's probably a thing that's likely to happen. Like I said, you would have to be a producer that's going out of your way. It's like, I don't want the makeup person to be this. I don't want the sound guy to be that, or whatever. You would have to go out of your way to avoid some of these things. So to fall into some of these categories is pretty easy. Going into to B2, let's see, other key roles, at least 6 other crew / team and technical. If I'm on the right graphic, let me make sure I'm on the right. Let me fade that in. Yeah. Let's see, technical positions. Excluding production assistants are from an underrepresented racial or ethnic group. These positions included but are not limited to first aid, gaffer, script supervisor, etc. And in B3, overall crew composition, at least 30% of the film crew is from the following underrepresented group: women, racial or ethnic group, LGBT community, people with cognitive physical disability, as we've mentioned before, deaf or hard of hearing. And that's B. So
it does, you're right. It does just start getting like, if you've ever been on a major film set, like right. Your first AD, your second AD, your gaffers, your makeup, it's like the idea that at least one of
them won't be something like I'm black on my grandmother's side and what something.
That's where it does start getting weird to me. Of like, do you have to like sit down with like all your gaffers? And it's like, so is anyone here?
Tell me about your Mima.
Bisexual? We'll take bisexual. Like what?
It's like you're auditioning to
like,
I'm uncomfortable. I was told you legally could not ask me these questions or something like that, right? Like I thought the Constitution meant you couldn't ask these questions. But it's not about asking those questions in an audition. It's about when I guess an auditor comes out from the Oscars, like let's make sure that you didn't discriminate against anybody. But what's the standard C? I have that graphic up right now.
Standard C, I think actually for me personally is like the most sort of this is
standard C is what industry access and opportunities.
Yes. So to achieve this one, you actually have to hit both of the criteria. So that's a paid apprenticeship and internship opportunity. So the film's distribution or financing company has paid apprenticeships or internships that are from the following any of those underrepresented groups we discuss. So like an ongoing paid apprenticeship or internship, inclusive of underrepresented groups, including racial or ethnic groups, for production development, physical production, post, music, visual effects, acquisition, business affairs, et cetera, et cetera. And then you are also talking, having at least 2 interns or apprentices from the underrepresented groups in those departments, in those apprenticeships, as well as having training opportunities and skill development. So that means the film's production, this is point B, that the film's production, distribution, and or financing company offers training or work opportunities for below the line development to people from the following underrepresented groups.
Women,
you know what those groups are. Yeah. I think that's actually super important. The idea of like, what's your outreach look like? Are you offering a door to people who might not have an in to the industry, who might not have had it's getting beyond the symptoms and to the actual like root of the problem of like socioeconomic issues of like, it's important to be offering, people from perhaps disadvantaged communities a chance to start getting their foot in the door.
Right.
Beyond like, oh, I'm a Coppola, so yeah, like, so I think that's awesome. So that is C.
I don't know if I overlooked it, but didn't it say you have to have like 2 or 3 of these boxes checked from each of these categories? Not necessarily saying that all you have to do is make sure you check one of these boxes and you're good, but I think you have to. You need
to of each of the like A, B, C, D. You need to have 2 of them met.
Out of all the
all 4 like overarching categories. Academy, you made this too hard on us.
Right.
So out of the 4, like basically if you break it down as like cast, behind the scenes, internships, and I believe it's like audience development, you need to hit 2 of those 4. Right. So like for acting, that could be like you have a lead who's in one of those groups. You have 30% of your like smaller casts in those groups. For the internship, it's like 2 boxes you have to check. So the categories vary, but you have to check 2 of the categories.
Right. Okay. And the last one in category D is standards D. Representation in marketing, publicity and distribution. The studios and or film company has multiple in-house senior executives from among the following underrepresented groups. Must include individuals from underrepresented racial or ethnic groups on their marketing, publicity, and or distribution team, women, racial or ethnic groups. And then it goes down the list of all the different races and ethnicities, and then LGBTQ communities and people with physical disabilities. All categories other than Best Picture will be held to their current eligibility requirements. Films in the specialty feature categories, animated feature films, documentary features, international feature films submitted for Best Picture / general entry consideration will be addressed separately. And that's all the standards from that's
a lot of words.
Yeah, so it covered a lot of ground.
Okay. But have a couple not straight white guys in there, maybe.
Yeah.
Kind of all we're really, and it probably is. I don't know. What do you think about this? Like, I feel like normally I'm so like, yes, affirmative action. Let's like fight against sort of the natural bias of stuff. And this sits a little wrong with me. And I don't know if I'm the only one.
I mean, the only thing that I kept hearing about was people were trying to, when they were doing like a pushback against it, they were making an example like the movie. I think there was an article that said that the movie 1917 would not have qualified for this, which
yes,
they
still could have. You just didn't hit box A.
You just didn't hit box A, but yeah, exactly. But A2 and A3, you definitely did. So they another article came out in defense and said, no, that's incorrect. It absolutely does qualify, and it broke down the reasons why. It's
even if you're going to make a movie entirely about straight, cis, able-bodied white guys.
Yeah.
Fine. Just have...
there's B. We can
get anyone behind the camera. Get anyone,
right, exactly.
Opportunities to people who want to be behind the camera. Give, people on your marketing team. Like, that's all they're asking for. And that's maybe part of the issue, that it's so many words to make it as bare minimum as possible. Yeah,
I feel like it covered, like you said, it's a lot of words. I feel like it covered. I feel like it did it on purpose. Like we were talking about before we started. I think that this was more about just putting hey, look what we're making progress. We're being progressive kind of a thing, but really technically nothing changed because they might as well have had a category. If you inhale oxygen and exhale carbon monoxide, you're qualified for an Oscar. I think they purposely got their lawyers together and said, what are the standards that every movie pretty much have been meeting anyway, and make sure that it's all covered, and just so we can put something out there to say that we've that we're doing something. Not to say that they're being two-faced on their reasons behind it. There's probably this is probably a good thing to just to let you know that this is where the line is, even though nobody can really break it or cross it.
It just feels like a Band-Aid over a lot of other issues for me. So to release this is like, here it is, our inclusivity standards. It's like, right, but like that wasn't our issue. Our issue was there were a ton of performances by like people in these groups that never got nominated, that never got recognized. Like the whole like Oscars so white hashtag was not saying, and not that there aren't diversity issues in the film industry, there 100% are, but the actual complaint that I think the Oscars should have been addressing is what are we doing to make sure diverse films are getting recognition. Right. It's also not, and again, this is bare minimum, so like, who cares? But it's also not the Oscars' job to tell
Hollywood or the producers.
To tell the filmmakers, to tell the producers, to tell the film studios what they can and can't do. It's I don't feel.
I think it was. I think it was both.
It's a little like a weird like. I know you're the Academy that oversees a lot of this stuff, but at the end of the day, I think putting sort of half-ass rules in place rather than working, it feels like a negative way to go about this as opposed to going, how can we, like things like that internship program, how can we encourage more internship programs, more scholarships? How can we be lifting up films by, created and starring and worked on by minority groups that people might not be seeing, that even if they're not getting Oscar nominations, like as film lovers, how can we be lifting that up and making sure more people are seeing them? I think that's where their energy should have gone to, rather than being like, here are the rules. You got to follow the rules, even though the rules mean nothing.
If you want to get one of our awards, you got to do all the.
It's kind of icky.
I'm on both sides of it. I 100% agree with what you're saying. Hollywood itself needs to be more, be better with, their casting and things like that, and representation. That's true. But at the same time, the Academy being so old, and I think we talked about this before we started, that a lot of the members of the Academy have been there for years, and there was not that many minorities in the Academy and things like that. So even if a movie, like say Malcolm X or Black Panther, whatever the movie is, were to come out, and the majority of your Academy people who are voting on what Oscars they could be up for, if they don't see themselves really in that movie represent, that's probably why you get a situation where the Oscars would be so white, because the Academy was so white. I mean, I wouldn't expect a person who's like 75 years old, a 75-year-old white guy to really be impacted by Malcolm X as probably maybe as I would have, or my grandfather or my father would have been if they were a critic. Not to say that a film critic, just because you're white, can't assess a black film or Hispanic film or an LGBTQ film with the same standards that you put on other films, but there's something to say. To me, there's something to say about our individual upbringings that might give a little bit. I understand what the director or that actor was trying to portray, because maybe I've experienced that thing. Not necessarily saying that I would give it the Oscar because of that, but I would like more people to have those backgrounds to bring that to the Academy. So I feel like it should happen on both ends. Yeah, Hollywood should work on their issues, and the Academy should work on theirs. And I think there's a middle ground here somewhere. I feel.
But you feel like the issue is more the makeup of the Academy.
I feel like both. I feel like both are working on it, because I heard that the Academy.
What the Academy should actually be.
Well, I heard the Academy is diversifying. Not necessarily that they're taking away members of the Academy. They're including more directors and film writers of color and of different backgrounds, and including them into the Academy. The Academy has a lot of members anyway, but they're expanding it, and I think that's a good way to go.
I think the other thing that bothers me about that, because I'm always, again, it's like, why is this sitting wrong with me? Because I'm normally a person who's really excited to hear this kind of stuff's happening. And I think part of it is because it's such a nothing burger of a list of rules. It's
like what did it affect?
Yeah, you changed nothing and you gave crappy people an excuse to start going, well, they just got hired because the Academy rules set, and like
what?
You're giving people
you're right.
ammunition and causing and affecting no actual change, and that sucks.
On the YouTube streaming side of it, this is what I'm pissed off about. There are people who are out there who have channels out there who just like to excite and get people angry about something, like something to gripe about. There are people who won't even read the rules the way we just did and go through it and see what it all really means, and will just complain about A1 and be like, well, if you better make sure that or at least one person, your movie could be all about a period piece that only had white people in it, but you better hire a group or somewhere in there, or otherwise you won't be qualified for not purposely overlooking the rest of the rules. Or even worse, there's probably other channels who 100% understand how it works and are purposely going to tell their audience, look, I guess this movie won't be qualified because just to get clicks and to anger people and to further confuse people. So we're
a generation of headline skimmers. Yeah. I've tried to at least get better about acknowledging, like, I read an article. I mean, I read the headline and I don't know more than that.
I mean, my friend just told me about it.
Yeah. I saw a tweet.
That's all the way we get our information from. Oh, I don't have to click on this link. I already know that I'm outraged. That's just the way we are now. But all right, guys, that is the show. Once again, thank you guys for watching and just having this little experience with us. And as we went through a lot of topics here, remember, if you want to send a topic to us, you can do that by emailing us at mail@t3medias.com, or you can go to the website t3medias.com/contact and send us a topic that you think we want to cover here on the show, that you think we should talk about. You can also reach out to us on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, as long as that's still a thing, at T3 Medias, if you want us to respond to one of your comments on We Got Your Mail. So be sure to do that. Like I said, guys, appreciate you. And Amy, once again, for helping me out on the show. Amy, if you don't mind letting the people out there know, once again, where they can find you online.
Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'm on Instagram at amy.n.newman and on Twitter at amy_n_Newman.
And guys, you can always find me. It's Chris Fagan 1980 on Twitter and on Instagram. Hey, don't forget, guys, Talking to the Medias was brought to you in front of a live studio audience of nudie pictures of Chris Evans. Ooh. Enjoy.
If you like what you saw, make sure to subscribe to the channel and please drop a like on this video. It really does help us. Also, don't forget you can turn on notifications so you don't miss a single review, react, why is that trending, or We Got Your Mail.